Hi guys, in this video I'm going to talk about rate limiting, and after that I'm going to show you how to bypass authentication if rate limiting is not put up in place, or how you can brute force websites and login panels or guess OTPs if rate limiting is not put in place. So what is rate limiting? Basically rate limiting is a limit which you have, which you put on your service or on your API or on your authentication endpoint or any endpoint for that matter. It's how many times, in simple words, is how many times a user can hit a certain endpoint, or how many times a client can hit a certain endpoint. So let's say if you have an API, and let's say it's a Gemini API. So Gemini API has some sort of rate limiting put on place, which means within a certain amount of time, within 1 second, you can, let's say, do x amount of request or 10 requests within a second or something like that, something of that sort. So if you do more than that, it will be rate limited. You will be blocked. You cannot do more than a certain number of requests within a certain time period, and that is rate limiting. So what if you don't have rate limiting put in place? So if you don't have rate limiting put in place, it's very easy for the website to get spammed, and to get brute force attacks. Let's say if you have a login panel, you know the username but you don't know the password. It's someone else's username and you don't know the password. If rate limiting is not put in place, so what happens is, let's say there's a login uh, username and password field. So you know the email but you don't know the password. So what you can do is, there should be a certain amount of limit that a user can do, that the user can try these number of password, let's say 3 tries or 4 tries within a certain amount of time period. But if you don't have that, what a hacker can do is, they have the username and they can create a password list, and then they can keep on trying with the password. It is called brute forcing. So you have the email and you keep trying it with different passwords, and there's a high chance that one password, you might get one password right, and you just need one right password to get the access, right? So that's how basically it works. So you can also read this blog post by Cloudflare on rate limiting. This is very detailed blog post. I will try to put the link in the description below. You can just go ahead and read it from there. So right now let's have a look at the demo scenario that I have created. So I have two folders, which is, one is attack and the second is backend. So in the backend folder, I have this TypeScript code over here, Express code over here, index.ts. Here we are creating an Express app and we are serving it on port 3000. It will run on port 3000. Then here we have an OTP store. OTP store, it is a simple in-memory object which will store the email and the password. Sorry, email and the OTP. The first endpoint is to generate an OTP. The second endpoint is to reset a password. Let's see what this endpoint does. It will take in an email from request.body. So let's say there's a form, you put in your email. So that's how it goes. If there's no email, it will say email is required, obviously. And if there's an email, it will just do OTP. It will generate the OTP. This is the code to generate a 6-digit OTP, and after that it will store the email into the OTP store, which is what we created over here. And then it will console.log. It will log the OTP to the console. So in a real case scenario, real world scenario, what we have is, what we do is, we send the OTP through email or SMS. But here we don't have an email server. I didn't want to set up an email server for this scenario, because this is just a demo. So it will log it to the console on the backend, which will not be visible to the end user. It will log it to the backend on my terminal, and I can see it. And then it will send the request.status of 20,200, which is request successful, and it will show OTP generated and logged, right? And then comes the reset password. Reset password, you have to submit the email, OTP, and new password from the requested body. So here we generated the OTP, and this OTP will be useful over here in reset password. So what we'll try to do here is, as you can see, there's no rate limiting over here, no rate limiting in place. So what we'll try to do over here is, we'll try to guess the OTP, 6-digit OTP from here, which is generated over here, and then you'll put in the reset password. So when I put this OTP, the correct OTP over here, we can reset the password even if we don't receive the OTP, right? Because we have guessed it by brute force. Let's see how we do that. We have attack. In this attack folder, we have index.ts. What we have over here is something that I have exported from Postman, which is very simple. Let's say, uh, let me just show you directly. So I did this in the backend folder node disk slash index.js. So this is index.ts, but when you compile the ts, you get index.js, and this index.js is what we have to run using node, right? So that is what I did. I ran this server, backend server. Now what I'll do is I'll go to generate OTP and try to generate an OTP, right? I'll use Postman for this. This is the endpoint generate OTP, as you can see over there. And here in the email, I have sent randomguy@email.com. So this is how you send request.body. So I need to send on the email over here. So I sent on the email and I'll click on send. Now you can see I have logged in the console that the OTP is this, but the user does not know the OTP. The hacker or whoever it is does not know the OTP because I don't have access to this guy's account, right? But I want to change his password. For that, I need to know the OTP. I need to guess the OTP. For that, I have this attack over here. So how did I get this? How did I get this thing over here? This entire code. So to get this, what I have done is I have sent a request to, in the body, I have sent email, OTP, and new password. So these are all random. The email I know that randomguy@gmail.com, this is the email I'm trying to reset the password for without having access to the OTP. So here in this OTP, I have put in some gibberish six-digit value, which is not our OTP in this case. Our OTP is this, but I don't know the OTP, so I put in some random value over here, and then I have put in new password. Now I'll click on send. Now you can see invalid OTP because I don't know the correct OTP. So this is, I don't know the correct OTP, so it's showing me invalid OTP. Now what I need to do is I need the code for this. I'll go to code, and here I go to code snippet, get the code snippet. Now I can go to JavaScript and go to fetch. This is giving me fetch, or I can go to Axios. Somewhere I think there's Axios over here. You can just check over here. Yeah, Node.js Axios, and this is the code which I copied from here and pasted it over here. And then what I did is the random value is there. Now what I did is I created a function which is a main function. So here what I did is I ran a loop from 0 to this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 zeros. I don't know how. So let's just leave it at that. So I'll send 100 requests per batch. So this is P, which is, let's say, an array. So console.log I will also log the number of OTPs I'm sending over here, not the number of OTPs, but the exact thing of OTP I'm sending, exact OTP I'm sending to the server. Then I have a JLoop, which will send 100 requests. So I'll push this request to this P, right? And then we'll do await promise.all P. So I'll link the GitHub repository of this entire code, entire scenario in my description. You can just go ahead and read it out or check it out. But this is the main code. Then I have run this main function, right? So let me just show you the scenario. So here we send. So now we have the OTP over here. We have the, we know the OTP. Now we don't know the OTP, but we have the OTP logged over here because we don't want to send it through email. Right now what we will do is we'll try to guess the OTP using the script we have over here. So now node disk slash index.js, this is actually written in TypeScript, but you need to compile the TypeScript, and then we get it in dist folder. Here we have index.js, which is basically this TypeScript code in JS. You can check it over here. So now we have it. What we'll do is we'll run this side by side and then we'll see what happens, if it is able to guess it or not. Now let's hit enter and let's just wait for it to guess the OTP. Now you can see it's 3 4 it's 4 and it's here we have 60. So let's see 6060. Yeah, okay, this is 5 digit I guess, but this is 6 digit. So it will take some time to reach up to 6 digits and then it will show you if it hit the correct OTP. So I'll try to fast forward this and then I'll show you. As you can see, if we scroll over here, you can see OTP testing 604202. So this is the one which is successful. Now we have set the password, reset the password, and this is the correct password. This is the new password that we have set after we guessed the OTP. And you can see this is the OTP where it hit 604202 and it's logging it over here. So yeah, this is how you brute force an OTP or guess an OTP if rate limiting is not in place. If rate limiting was in place, then we couldn't have sent all this request. It would have stopped at 5 or 6 or 10 and we wouldn't have been able to guess this long list of thing. We wouldn't have been able to send this long list of digits. So yeah, this was all about today's video. Please do like and share this video and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.